This show brought to you by Ricmotech. Are you considering a Thrustmaster product? If so, you should consider Ricmotech. They are an authorized Thrustmaster dealer. They take support to the next level and offer optional firmware updates, product testing, and support, all free of charge, and will ship worldwide. Check them out at ricmotech.com. John and Darin's office chairs provided by GT Omega Racing. You can check them out at gtomegaracing.com.
Welcome to this week Inside Sim Racing, December 7th, 2016 edition. I'm sorry, I just liked where we popped in there with...
Right, I'm all...
Yeah.
It smells.
The funny thing is, I was almost sneezing during the intro there, and I was kind of like, oh god, do I grab a Kleenex or just try to hang it out? Hi, everyone.
Just wipe it on your forearm.
Yes,
hey, what's
exactly,
going on?
Exactly. So, hi, everyone. John Sable. I'm a little under the weather this week, so we got Billy Strange here to fill up all the dead air.
Oh boy, that's exactly what everybody needs.
So, oh great, and chat's not working for some reason. Well, I'll work on that later. Or actually, I'll work on that now. Billy, what are we talking about?
We're talking about things with stuff that have words.
Perfect. Those are my
letters
favorite.
That make up words. Let's see. So news. Let me pull this in front of me. RaceRoom does a Thrustmaster TSPC racer competition. We got Gran Turismo. Sorry, it's a bad habit. Sport news. Assetto Corsa new Porsche DLC pack Volume 3 images. Forza Horizon 3, the Blizzard Mountain expansion. There's gallery that is encompassed with that. iRacing dirt preview images and Season 1 2017 build. What is this? Visaro new V75 Formula 1 Stage 3 motion simulator. Sector 3 Studios RaceRoom Audi TTRS VLN car is now available. Assetto Corsa RSR Formula 3 version 3 mod is now available as well. And the 10 finalists for $1 Million Visa Vegas eRace confirmed. Why did that look like it was going to be really hard for me to say, so I slowed down?
V's.
I'm reading it and going, this doesn't read right to me. And then we have happenings. We got stuff that's happened.
Yes, happenings. As you see, Darin's not here. He is busy at work on the TSPC Racer First Look. Expect that sometime later this week. Billy has a test drive of Richard Burns' rally coming, which looking forward to that. I haven't had an opportunity to watch it yet.
I'll just save it. It's
okay.
Yeah.
That good. And then I am hopefully, depending on how I'm feeling, going to the PRI show tomorrow in Indianapolis, and I know at least one of you guys is going to be there, so check out some real-world racing and what kind of sim racing stuff there. I already know there's going to be some of the big fancy rig manufacturers there, at least in other people's booths. So I'm just going to go around and drive a bunch of stuff.
There you go.
So, and then doing a segment this week, which isn't, that different. Calling it From the ISR Forums. We were doing pretty well there about every month, checking out a member's rig, and then I dropped the ball because Darin got busy with some experience stuff, and he mostly did that, and I wasn't doing a very good job. So now I'm trying to spend a little more time in the forums, seeing what cool stuff, and found something kind of neat and wanted to share it. So, going to talk about that, and then of course, Q&A.
Dun dun dun.
Yes. And let's see. Okay, yeah, I don't know why chat's not working, by the way, on screen. I keep on telling it to work, and it keeps on saying no. So,
Jonas says I look old.
Oh, man.
I kind of am. Well, depends on what your version of old is. I'm in my mid-30s, so...
XSplit is confused. XSplit is showing right now on screen the scene box. It's saying that this is YouTube live streaming. Oh boy. Maybe that is right. I don't know. That's supposed to be pop-up chat, and that's dead. Oh well. Well, I mean, we get people that always ask like, "Don't show chat; it's distracting." So now we're not going to show you guys this week.
Yeah, There it is.
So really, this week more than ever, go have your own little separate conversation separate from what we're talking about.
That's funny.
Okay, so let's get into it with our first news topic, and that is this Thrustmaster TSPC racer competition via RaceRoom, and cool little competition between that started on December 2nd running through the 23rd. Essentially go in there and drive the RaceRoom FR2, the pseudo, I believe it's GP2 car, and then they're doing fastest lap at Spa. And let's see here. Oh, that readjusted. So here's the awards. The top 3 fastest laps all get a brand new Thrustmaster TSPC racer wheel. And then if you finish first, you get pedals and shifter. Finish second, you get pedals. And then also, as long as you just compete, there's going to be a random draw that will give away a TSPC racer, pedal, shifter, and 2,500 VRP.
You know, that's nice. It's cool that there's a random draw in there because it helps participation.
Yes. No, that is very cool. I like that. I didn't realize that was part of it at first until I was putting things together today. So no content is required. You can go in and just race the car and the track in its own kind of separate thing. So yeah, you don't have to worry about going and buying the car. The fastest lap at the moment, which I don't know if this is, I assume it's good, but I don't know I'm not sure I haven't done a lap yet, is 1 minute 54.51 seconds by Georgios Santos. I'm sorry.
I like that. I'll just quit.
I'm just gonna stop. Yes. So, but yeah, cool competition and get a brand new wheel.
Most of their competitions are limited to Europe. Is that still the case with this one? Because I didn't see it right off the bat.
I have not seen anything limiting where you live.
Okay, because usually most of them, because there's been a couple that I've wanted to do, but they are limited to Europe. United States or North America can't participate.
And I wonder if that's depending on what they're giving away. I mean, nice thing with Thrustmaster is, Thrustmaster will probably just get the dress themselves and send you one directly, and they can ship all over the world. So now, if maybe they were trying to ship like a RaceRoom rig, maybe that kept it within Europe.
Sure, makes sense.
Those can be a little pricey sending overseas. And then let's see. While we're at it, let's chat about this wheel. I know I got this in happenings later, but since Darin isn't here, and we've had so many people ask about this over and over again as Billy's dying. Never mind. I take it all back. We're not talking about it. That's what happens when you don't. That's what happens when you don't put the pictures before the show. Whoops. Anyway, we got pictures of it up on Facebook, and the power supply on that thing is something.
It's hard to tell how big that is, right? But it's still that. Where do you put that?
I'm thinking
it looks good size.
I'm thinking it's like this big, which is still it's good size.
Being that it's a turbo power supply means it's 15% quicker.
Absolutely. Now, if they just would have put a NOS bottle as like a second power supply, then we'd be cooking.
Perfect. Yes.
Oh well, I'll add those pictures here in a second, and we can take a look at those, and yeah, because that whole turbo power supply is something. But in the meantime, moving on, what next do we have, Billy?
Well, let's see. Gran Turismo came out. Turismo. I'm so sorry. It's such a bad habit. They came out with some new trailers. Well, an official trailer at the PlayStation Experience, and then GT Planet now has a host of quote-unquote gameplay videos that they've put on their site and on their YouTube page. So, John, what do you think about that trailer?
Yeah, so I just had the trailer up, and now I've gone over to the gameplay video. I wrote the blog when the trailer came out on Saturday from PSX, and I mean, visually I was impressed by it, but as I wrote in the blog, I'm also kind of thinking, you know, I don't know if this is real. Because I don't know if this is direct capture, because this looks really clean. And I played it at E3, and it wasn't really clean looking. So now, GT Planet, our friends over there, have released this video and a handful of others that's supposed to be actual gameplay. It's not as nice looking as that trailer, but it's still very good looking.
It's still, judging by the, well... I wrote a blog because I started doing blogs, so if you guys want to read it, you can go over there. But that, I don't know what you want to call those, gameplay captures, but I don't consider that gameplay. It's a replay. So,
yes,
replay, it looks amazing. I think it looks really, really good. But it's not, in my opinion, that's not actual gameplay footage. So,
you want to see it in the car.
Yeah. I want to see from driving positions. I want to see, for those that, you know, whether we want to talk about it or not, there are people that use the behind the car view, and then I want inside the car. I want to see and hear what those sound and look like.
Yes. Well, that is one thing. Like the sound, you can kind of hear it there, but they still haven't really come out and be like, this is what the game sounds like.
Right.
I will say, from what I've heard, I've seen a lot of, you know, pretty hard critiques on the sound. It's better. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to jump to the forefront and it to be like, you know, for that Mercedes AMG GT3 to sound like it fell out of RaceRoom. You know, right. I wasn't expecting that. So for me, I'm kind of like, it's better. I know it's not the best, but you know, you gotta stand before you can walk.
Yeah. Real quick, save your questions. I'll grab them. We'll call out when we're going to grab them later, just so I'm not, as Darin likes to put it, distracted by chat. The sounds are an improvement. I've seen the ones that have the captures of in-car footage from unofficial quote-unquote sources, and it sounds better. I still maintain that there is something going on that we're not privy to yet. There's no reason not to show us in-car footage with the audio. And granted, that can still be manipulated, but I'd have a better time believing what the vehicles sound like with that camera in place, you know, and having it actual gameplay footage rather than a replay.
Sure.
And did you watch or anything at all on their presentations or any of the interviews that they did
from PSX?
Yeah,
I have not.
Okay, so
I'm ready.
What they talked about was mostly things, again, it's like what they did at the reveal. Here's what I talked about in my article is here's photo mode and here's esports. Well, now this time we're not talking about esports. Now because the PS4 Pro is out, now we're going to talk about, I had to write it down, wide color space, the HDR capability, and obviously the 4K ability that they're putting out with Gran Turismo Sport. So they talk about having a wide color space, and if you're familiar with what a typical camera can capture, that's like the RGB color space. And now what they're saying is they've widened that color space in order to capture more true-to-life colors. So RGB can only capture a certain spectrum. Apparently they've widened it out so that they can get the real Ferrari red and some of the colors that McLaren uses, which aren't correctly reproduced.
Well, I will say, I put the trailer back up there and they just showed a real quick glimpse of the M6 GT3. The blue looks actual like the flat blue they use.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm pretty impressed by that.
So you've got that, and then they talked about HDR And apparently the HDR is measured, the luminance is measured in something called nits. And so they talked about how standard definition is 100 nits. HDR movies are typically mastered at 1000 nits. The Sony TV Z90D, for comparison, displays at 1500. GT Sport is being produced at 10,000 nits.
Wait, how?
Well, they are going... The idea is to go beyond what is currently available so that they're capturing all of that high dynamic range lighting. And I'm just... It's nice. It's really cool. What about how the cars drive and the tracks? Literally, there was...
Whoa. No.
I know.
No. Stop it, Billy. You're talking crazy.
I know. The interesting thing is, I saw a couple interviews where they were interviewing Kaz, and the only question I found that was really relevant was how many tracks are going to be in the game. And literally they said, we don't know. Kaz said, I'm not totally sure what our track count is. There's going to be a bunch of different, he said, variations and stuff. But as far as the actual track count or location count, that's not available. I put it in the article, I'm afraid that this is not going to be released until November 2017. I don't think it's going to get released time sooner than that. I hope it is. I would like to be proven wrong. I do not hate the GT franchise. I am a fan. I got called out on that. I'm a fan of the GT franchise. You know, I've got all kinds on my shelves. I've got all kinds of GT memorabilia and the iterations and all that. But I think you need to have a healthy dose of skepticism as well. And the way this is going is not unlike any other past GT title where it gets delayed. And my fear now is there's so much competition in the marketplace, you're going to lose all your marketing push. And by the time this comes out, it's going to come out to a little fanfare. People are going to be tired of hearing about it and not getting it in their hands. So I hope it doesn't work out that way. I wish they would release it sooner rather than later so that they don't lose that marketing push they've done. But right now, I think people are kind of done seeing it.
Yeah, well, I kind of thought the same thing, too, because when I went and grabbed that video came out Saturday, and as of today, it had like 72,000 views. Now, I remember when GT Sport was announced back fall of last year, it was. That was like, a lot of views. Like that trailer was very popular, and I'm kind of like, I look at this, I'm kind of like, 72,000 views. And I also know it doesn't help that, I feel like a million places... I really hate this practice of, all these different YouTube channels that just released a trailer. I grabbed it from Polyphony, or the GT Sport, the GT channel, the official thing. But now it's like IGN posts one, this, so you kind of break up the view count. But still, with that said, it didn't have, a huge amount of views. And, I mean, even like the GT Planet videos, they were like 25,000 with a direct capture. And it's only been a couple of days, but I mean, in the past, Gran Turismo, an exclusive like that, would just be, huge.
It used to explode. So
yes.
I'm just afraid of what this title is going to turn out to be, especially in my opinion, if it doesn't get converted into Gran Turismo 7. I think people expect from the GT brand a career mode, and now with the the couple of later iterations that are on the PS3, now you have like I said, online and leagues. Photo mode is part of that, and having the esports part is great. But how about we focus on what built the franchise? And it's kind of the same issue that I see with Forza, the motorsport numbered ones is. I kind of feel like they're going the same way. Like, we've kind of forgot why and how we got to this point. And now we're expanding. And I understand there's that vision of wanting to create more and larger. But losing the base that you start with, I don't think is the best way to go.
Sure. Okay, I think we've killed that horse.
Oh, not even close. Oh,
yeah, GT Sport. Yes, that will be interesting when we see the next update from them. Yeah, I'm not. I feel like after talking to you more, you've convinced me more. It's like, yeah, I shouldn't be looking forward to this anytime soon. Which I think you're probably right.
I want to be wrong, but from their past history and the way that they're not displaying certain aspects in the trailers and the videos that they're releasing, I don't think it's going to be ready anytime soon.
Oh, but when it is ready, I'm excited though, because I have it. Well, I'm excited because I have a new HDR TV showing up tomorrow or Friday, and I really want to see. I want to see if that's as big of a deal as everyone says it is. It sounds like it's cool, but I want to see that.
And your standard PS4 will do HDR.
Will it now? Oh
Yes.
yeah, that's right. Yes. Yeah, the only thing that was kind of pro specific is the 4K.
Correct.
Which I'm curious about that too. It's like that's 4K, takes a lot of power. Okay, but moving on. Next up, we are talking. What are we talking? Assetto Corsa. Speaking of something else speaking of something that focuses a lot on driving and not too much on picture mode.
Oh, he's got jokes. Boom.
Yes. And that was after Billy's blog you had a couple weeks ago saying how, I guess, picture mode's not necessarily coming to the console version. Which is a little bit of a bummer. But anyway, these are pics of the Volume 3 pack that's going to be released on December 20th. The last of the Porsche iterations, because now, after this pack is done, there'll be more Porsches and Assetto Corsa than you can shake a stick at. And some cool cars here. A lot of 911 variants, and then some pics here of the there's a 908. The last one was the 917.
Yes.
Which, Billy, I see the smile on your face. You look excited.
The 917 and the 908 I think are super cool. So
they are very, very pretty cars. That will be cool to drive. So yeah, coming actual soon. Like I said, the 20th. A couple other cars in that pack. Now that's kind of most of them. 911s, 908, 917, and then the 919 2016 edition, which enjoyed the 2015 edition. So we'll see what 2016 is like.
I was going to say it'd be interesting to see if there's a perceptible difference between the two.
It will be interesting to see if they just take the 2015 version, they just like tweak aero and stuff. Since I mean it's a big, by a big evolution I mean it's a small evolution. I think it has like more or less a new nose, and I don't know. And well, it should have less power. They tried to restrict the power in 2016 the LMP1 class and bring it back under 1,000 combined horsepower, but they still sound like they were going really fast. So,
it's a relative term, right?
Exactly. So, what's up? What's going on in Forza Horizon 3?
There's more pictures. More pictures.
Man, awesome. That's all we got.
Yep. No, it's the new Blizzard Mountain, the Forza. You want to call this an expansion? I don't really think it's considered DLC because it's like a whole other area, isn't it?
Yes, it is an expansion. Well, yeah, $35. It is an expansion.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so. So it's just they're just showing off the cars that'll be in that expansion, along with some, the locations that are showcasing the snow. I mean, it looks cool. Forza always looks really nice. So it'll be interesting. Some of these are interesting, like the F100 flare side.
Yeah. I mean, call me just a stupid millennial, but I do want to drive that Ken Block Focus. It just looks like it eats children for breakfast.
Okay.
I mean, that's really why I want to drive it.
Nice. I like the Pro 2 truck.
Yeah, that looked pretty cool too. Yeah, which I mean the truck they drive at the very beginning of Horizon 3 is pretty fun. The trophy truck.
Yes.
It looks similar to that. But yes, that is the Blizzard Mountain expansion. That's going to be out next week. I believe that's next Tuesday the 13th, if I remember correctly, which means I need to work on speaking to our friends over there and getting some codes and hopefully checking that. I gotta see if they're gonna let any pre-release content. I would think maybe, but yeah, gotta get on that so we can check that out. Oh, and speaking of Forza, I was gonna put this in the notes, and I had a picture of it, and I'll have to put it up on Instagram later, and Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. But for the last this is the third week in a row I've tried to fire up Horizon 3 before the live show because I wanna. There was some fix that was put out there by Barnacles Nerdgasm on how to fix some of the stuttering going on, and I've been wanting to try it. But every time I try to start the game, it says I need an update. It's like, okay, I press enter, it goes back to the Windows Store, and it downloads. And the first time, it was trying to download I don't know what the file was. It was like 2 gigabytes or something. It was a large file size, but it just kept on downloading. It just never got out of there, like an endless loop. And then by the time I had to start the show and turn off my gaming PC, then last week it went and it said it had 5 gigabytes to download, and then just went forever. And then today, it sat forever at the loading screen of the game, just pinwheeling 10 minutes. I walked away, came back, and it says you need an update. Go over to the download section, and it's just the bar just sits there and doesn't download or do anything.
I haven't fired it up in a while, so I couldn't tell you.
So I don't know what is going on with my version of the game, but yeah, I've been wanting to drive it, and I just I don't know. I'm maybe I got to go and kill all the files and completely re-download it. I obviously have to figure that out because I want to try out that expansion next week.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I couldn't help you because I haven't touched it in a while.
Yeah, I still kind of need to get that whole PC review that said we were gonna do. I want to get the expansion on the PC, and then I can kind of tie them together. But we'll see.
You go.
Those other videos get out.
That's a good segue. Yes.
Yes. Let's see. Right. Moving on. Last week, iRacing released these photos of the upcoming dirt content, and if you thought Billy was excited about seeing some Porsches and Assetto Corsa, he's very excited about this.
Just wait till my desk moves. What? No. Yeah, I am trying to contain my excitement for this because I really want it to be good. So it looks good. They look like they've captured the right, ticked all the right boxes for the cars. So can only hope.
Oh, just 1 second. Orange Jector said, John, delete the whole thing and install it. I had the same problem before.
Ooh, okay. Bummer.
I guess that's how I go. Yeah, whatever. It's not like I have really anything saved. Or everything's saved. My
in the clouds,
saved.
So,
yeah, in the clouds. Yeah, so no, these pictures look fantastic. No, this is very exciting. And I wish, unfortunately, these are kind of smaller images, so they don't really do justice here, especially in 720. But no, these things, in full resolution, these things look fantastic. One thing that I was looking at these pictures earlier, and I was like, okay, hopefully, maybe Billy can answer this question for me. Why do most of these cars, not the sprint car, but the other two, why do they run open hubs on the left side and then blocked wheel rims on the right hand side?
So you're talking about the mud covers on the right-hand side? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So what happens, you can see it on the sprint car too. I actually ran on my sprint car, I ran them on the right side and the left front. Because what can happen is you can pack mud into the wheel, and it will get so out of balance. Like I've done it twice, where you literally can't see. It feels like it's going to shake all the teeth out of your head. And if it's in the front end, it literally will bounce the tire off the ground. So, and what happens is when you set the car, or you, like on a big half mile, when you're running the car hard into the turn, all that, when you run up against the cushion, it has an easier time of packing the wheel full of mud on the right side of the car.
Gotcha.
So that's why typically you'll see, wheel covers on the right-hand side and not the left-hand side like you see on the late model there. But you can see on the sprint car photo the right rear, because we kind of lead with the right rear. But I even had them on the right front, especially on a short track, because it's so easy to get that clay packed in there. And let me tell you, when you do that, you can't hardly hold on to the car. I mean, the front end starts vibrating all over the place. You can't steer, and if it's in the rear end, you might as well close your eyes and drive, because it gets so bad. The vibration is so violent in the car. I mean, like I said, I did it, and I thought my teeth were gonna rattle right out of my jaw. I couldn't see. Literally vibrating so bad I couldn't see.
Wow. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you throw a little wheel weight on your car and go down the highway, you definitely feel it. Then think about a race car and how much mud could possibly get in there. So, yeah, no, that makes sense. People said Jeffrey Schrad had dirt in 2017 Season 2. Reliable source told me it is heading to Alpha pretty soon. So,
so it could be mid-season.
I could see this being released mid-season. I mean, the nice thing now is I'm sure they were just like in a rush, because the original goal was definitely to get it out this past Tuesday with the build, and we'll talk about the build next. That was definitely the intention. Didn't quite happen. It sounded like they kind of aborted that. I think last couple of weeks is why they put those photos out, to kind of give you something. And yeah, so they aborted that. So the nice thing now is they can kind of probably slow down a little bit. I'm sure they were rushing. Slow down, dot I's, cross T's, and put it out sometime. Maybe it might be ready in the next few weeks. I mean, things amazingly in iRacing, things show up to Alpha and then they get out amazingly quick. They don't spend a whole lot of time there. So I can see it being ready sooner, but I could see them waiting maybe it's like mid-season. Maybe they do an abbreviated season, only 6 weeks. I feel like they've done that before. So
okay,
I know
you would know more than I do, because I am infrequent with iRacing. I bounce in and out, so I just know. I generically know what's going on.
I mean, we know they've done 10-week seasons, because they did that with the Audi and the Nissan and
that's right.
That Camel. I think that was a 10-week season. So they've done that before. That became an official season. They've also done it where they've had abbreviated ones that are just fun. So I could see possibly coming out halfway, maybe have a 6-week fun season, so you can really go out there and beat it up in the dirt, and then season 2 let that be official, and then when the season 2 build comes out, then they can patch whatever they need to at that time. So that's a guess. I don't know, but
speaking of which, did you see some of the Did you see some of the races that they're doing?
No.
With the unofficial ones?
No.
They're doing the Lotus 49 at Bristol.
Oh.
That's awesome. I can't imagine. I haven't been able to try it yet. I really did want to at least give it a shot just to see how difficult it is. But I thought that was pretty cool.
What was... Oh, they had the Cup cars at Le Mans.
Yep.
I should try that out, because I really like driving the Cup cars on the road course. I mean, driving a stock car like around Watkins Glen, especially the NASCAR version, because it's like 3 corners. That's good fun. I like that.
Yeah, that looks cool too.
So I just worry about how long it takes to do a lap. Be out there forever.
Yeah, I would imagine you'd really have to back up your turns quite a bit.
Oh, there's so many big braking zones there, right?
Because you're going, for a lot of them are like high speed down to really slowing down the cars. So.
And the thing is, I mean, the real world guys deal with this. If you drive like the Cup car and iRacing at Watkins Glen, you go off into the bus stop like 185. I think the real life guys are doing like over 190 now. I mean, those cars just go so fast. Like, they just pick up speed with those engines. So think about going into that first bus stop down the Mulsanne Straight.
They're not doing that. I thought it was said the whole straight. I don't think it has the bus stops in it. I think they're doing the full straightaway on the Mulsanne.
Well, that's probably better, because now you just have one corner to worry about.
Yes, that's why I looked at that. I was like, that seems kind of cool.
Man, that becomes like, God, that almost becomes like setting up like a super speedway.
Right?
Like, how do you get it so it just goes so fast down that straightaway?
Really quick, somebody on here said, Jeffrey says 225. I'm assuming it's in miles an hour.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. No bus stop. Okay. Yeah. See, that's funny.
I like the unneutered version of Le Mans anyway. So.
Yes. Even though I will argue, I think the bus stop version probably makes for better racing. Because there's 2 pretty good passing opportunities.
Sure.
Moving on.
I mean, if we really want to go old school, just get rid of that whole S kink section. I forget what it's called, going onto the front straightaway, and just let it where they had that curve back in the old days.
Well, I mean, think about all the old school tracks. Like, I mean, those road courses didn't have a whole lot of corners because, you know, the cars weren't handling that amazing or going that fast.
I don't know. They were going pretty quick.
Yeah. Before we go to the next topic as we bounce around, I saw that France, Paul Ricard, which we talked about it a couple weeks ago on the show for some reason, it's coming back on the F1 schedule.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Which is very cool. I saw a picture, a track map of the original layout. Another track, not a lot of corners. a lot more corners now than what it had originally. But anyway, even with the current iteration, I really like that track, and I'm excited to see that coming back.
It's got a nice flow. I was surprised. I did that one with R Factor 2. And I was surprised.
GTR 2.
Paul Ricard.
I thought you raced one. You did race in GTR 2. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but didn't I do the Paul Ricard circuit in
I'm
the
sorry.
R2 video?
I'm sorry, not Paul.
I thought I was losing my mind for a second.
I'm sorry, not Paul Ricard. I'm sorry. I'm talking about someone correcting me in chat, but I don't have chat up. What's the track they're going to back in France? Not Paul Ricard.
Oh, it's
the other one.
No, I thought it was Paul Ricard. Now I don't know.
No,
I'm going to stop talking because now I don't know.
You're right. In R Factor 2, you did Paul Ricard because that's the one with all the runoff colors.
Yes.
I feel like it's named after another dude, but someone will get me fixed here when chat catches up.
I've confused myself, so I'm going to quit talking.
Okay, so now after that train wreck of a tangent, on to the rest of the iRacing news. This is the build, and here's kind of I like what they're doing now. They at the top are just kind of putting the big items. Magni Core.
There we go. That's
it. That's a nice track. I actually do like both of them, but that's the one I was thinking of. Anyway, so the build was released on Tuesday. There's kind of the major updates at the top. I hit these in the video that we put out yesterday doing our first look. That if I was good, I would have had out before the release, but I'm slow. And trying to do too many comedy bits in a video. So some of the big topics: world state triple buffering, which did seem to reduce some of the choppiness. Heat haze effects, which I thought was kind of cool. Your characters, support characters in the pits now are chatting, visor tear-offs, which isn't too bad, and hand-over-hand steering on some cars, which looks much better in VR. In the past, you just get stuck
right
here, and you're like, my hand's over here. So it's still like that on most cars. I think they redid like 9 cars in this build, so I assume that's going to be in later patches. So, did you Billy, you get a chance to try out the new build yet?
I have not touched it yet. That is on my to-do this weekend because I wanted to try out the V8 supercars just to see if I could feel a difference. Not that I have a whole bunch of time with them, but I know when I've driven them before, it's like, holy cow, these things are all over the place. Not as stuck as I thought they would be. Yeah,
the V8 supercars, it's interesting. You know, I some people commented on the video. Obviously, I'm being lazy today. I should have grabbed the video. But anyway, well, I'm assuming you already watched it. Yes, that's it. The cars do, the V8 supercars do feel better, but they still give me a little bit of like sitting on the track feel. And
sure.
It's like you gotta be really careful. I know you have to be careful with your feet. Like I get that, a lot of horsepower, not a lot of tire. But you have to be like so careful with your hands. And when I watch these guys drive, they seem to be like leaning into it. It seems like there's something to lean in. There's some bite there. Where I'm driving and I'm like, you know, very fine. Like, don't want to put too much wheel because then the thing will take off on me.
You can't push the car in the traditional sense where you feel the bite.
Yes.
The side load. And that's interesting because in the Richard Burns rally video that I did, it's something that I address. Not in depth, but a lot of sims have a hard time with replicating, side bite, the side
Yes.
load. So that just kind of feels like one of those cars that you would think, because of how tall it is, so your roll center and how the geometry of the car works. I mean, they plow those curbs and everything. You would think that the car would be a little more resilient to, maybe a little more squirmy, but you could feel that limited traction where when I drive it, at least, like I said, I haven't tried the new build. It almost feels like it's too stiff. And this car skates rather than digs. So
Yes, like I said, it feels on the track on top.
yeah.
No, it's better. I mean, I'll give it that. It's better. It's still I feel like right now in iRacing, I feel like the new Audi and the Nissan that came out, those ones they feel in the track. Like
that's why I really enjoyed. Sorry, that's why I really enjoyed driving those, because they felt like they are in the track, like they are digging.
Yes.
And that's why I really enjoyed those.
Well, and then at the same time, and that really was a good, that really stood out to me as a contrast, because at the same time that came out, we were practicing for Le Mans and driving that LMP2 car, an older car that hasn't seen as much love.
I just don't like that car.
That car was more on top of the track. Like, that one was definitely a lot easier to lose. Like I say, I didn't feel like you could lean on it with the wheel. You had to, precise. Don't make mistakes.
Yes.
So I think right now iRacing is kind of dealing with that a little bit, where they got some cars that the newer cars are feeling better. So yeah, but that was kind of I don't know where I was going with that. That's my thought. But I do want to, at least the car is improved enough where it's kind of like I want to go try it some more, because I love V8 supercars. I mean, it's the 2016.
They're so cool. They're awesome.
I've been watched the whole 2016. Well, actually, I haven't watched the last race yet. But I've watched pretty much the whole 2016 season. I love watching them. They put on such a great show, and I really do enjoy. And for that video going up and firing Bathurst, it feels so right. So I want to drive it. I want to drive it some more. So maybe with some setup tweaking, I can get a little more into the ground. As I said, I think that was a Toyota commercial talking about a Camry, grounded to the ground.
Oh,
It's like, oh my god.
oh yeah.
Okay, Toyota Camry.
It's hardcore.
Okay, grounded to we put on a plastic like chin splitter. Yeah, grounded to the ground.
Yeah, of course. Anything
Yes.
else of note in here? You got visor tear-offs.
Yeah, visor tear-offs. That wasn't too bad. I need that'll really be for dirt, because we saw a preview video of Steve Myers there driving on dirt and having a bunch of dirt on his visor. That's really that's going to be for driving by myself. I didn't really get a good feel of it. It'll be interesting in a race if you get actually like chunks of rubber. I feel like
especially with the open wheel cars. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's only for the open wheel cars. The visor tear-offs don't work.
Well, but they have tear-offs in like the Cup cars and stuff on the windshield.
The windscreen. Yeah. Which I guess
Can you do that?
No.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware of, unless I'm missing them. But I'm pretty sure you can't. Which is something they need to do that. Okay. So next up, let's transition to Billy's next rig, the Visaro.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I mean, it's only 66,000 pounds. I mean, in U.S. dollars, that's only like 90,000, or maybe 95.
Yeah. About that. I'll get back to you.
Yeah. So this is the new, what are they calling this? The new V75 Formula 1 Stage 3 motion simulator. And this is for the people who have more money than they should have. Look at those sweet pedals, though.
I do not bemoan anybody. If they have the money and they want to spend it on this, by all means, go right ahead. I'm just looking at it going, dude, that's like a sprint car. I could go sprint car racing again.
Well, we do always hear, like, people see our rigs, or especially like Darin's Sim Experience Stage 4, and they go, I could buy a car with that money.
Look at that thing. Wow.
Yeah. And the answer is always, no, you can't buy a car for this money, or you can't buy a car that you would want to buy, or a car you'd be putting a whole bunch more money into. This thing, You could legitimately make the argument that you could buy a real car for this money.
I mean, we kind of give people a little bit of garbage for saying that usually, because it's like, okay, look, you can't get all the experiences that you can with even like Darin's motion rig. Yeah, it's several thousand, but you know, realistically, getting to the track and doing all the prep work and stuff, like you can't. It's not apples to apples. But this thing, my brain instantly goes to, all I need to do is get somebody to sponsor me like an open trailer, and I can go back to the track sprint car racing. That's just where my brain goes.
Do I need to go find sponsors for you at the PRI show tomorrow?
Hell yes. I am dying to get back into the sprint car. So, by all means.
That's funny. I'll get to some of these specs in a second. I want to first show someone. Let's see. Let's go live here with this. This was posted by in the comments section of that post. Let me get a name here. Oh, that's right. The username Jensen Button. He commented that, well, for a similar price, you can go buy this, which that's not too bad. 60,000 pounds for a rolling chassis. I mean, no engine.
That thing, yeah. I was gonna say there's a couple things there. That thing's got to be so expensive just to fire up, let alone drive on the track, and then you're missing the whole power plant part of it.
First off,
but it looks neat.
I had no idea. Is this the actual steering wheel that was on this car? Because I had no idea steering wheels looked this rudimentary in 2004. I mean,
I couldn't tell you. I don't remember.
I mean, I don't recall either. But that is like, yeah, I don't know. But you know, who says about putting an engine in it? I mean, I say simulator.
No. You're missing the boat. This is like a soapbox derby car. We can put it at the top of a hill, and then we can just glide on down.
Yeah, that's it. Man, you will go around the corner so fast.
Oh, yeah.
You just got to get it above 55 miles per hour.
Trim all that drag out of there.
That's right. Oh, by the way, more off-topic stuff. I wish I had a clip of this. Did you see any of the clips of the Ferrari F1 cars going around Daytona this past weekend?
Yes, I did. I watched that.
Oh, my God.
They weren't even pushing it. You could tell they really weren't like getting totally on it going when they were like going around the tri-oval bank. I'm like, yeah, you guys aren't really full throttle there.
Well, I feel, yeah, you're talking about Raikkonen and Vettel, right?
Yes.
Yes, I was disappointed by that. I wanted them. It's like, okay, guys, you know, I don't know if they're afraid. I wonder if they're afraid about like tires, because I thought about this. You know, the whole thing about the 2005. I was
going to say Indy, huh?
USGP at Indianapolis was that Michelin's tires couldn't take the banking in the turn one of the oval of IMS, and that banking there is like 16 degrees, if I remember off the top of my head. 12. It's not a lot. So then you have
in the 30s or something.
32 at Daytona, yeah. I believe. I'm not fully sure what the replay.
It's somewhere around there,
but it's somewhere about that. So if the banking is the issue, that's way more load on the tire wall of that tire. So I wonder if they kind of said like, okay, let's not go too fast. But yeah, I would have loved to see them really open up. I will say though, some of the guys who just own the old Formula One cars, which how awesome is that?
Yeah,
they sounded like they were going pretty hard.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
There were some like early '90 Ferraris that were coming through the tri-oval pretty quick. I was very impressed. I'm sure you drive a handful of times a year, but for someone who's not a real race car driver and then show up Daytona and have that much track from the bus stop to turn one of the road course, pretty ballsy.
Yeah. If you ever get a chance to watch any of the vintage races, when they can get guys like, pardon me, like Brian Redman and still to drive some of those vintage cars, they're not easy with those cars. Like when you watch the old Trans Am stuff, and it looks pretty cool.
Yep. Anyway, so back on the Visaro. Let's see. Yeah, so that was a 3/4 car. That boat, you get the Bose audio system, only 2.1 system. I was like, come on, guys, get a 5.1 in there. Looks like you can get the Oculus, and you can get triples if you want, and you can get anything you want at that price. There's options. If you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Right. Yep.
Even though I do like, I want another comment from that post is someone, I guess, read through the different options, and Cyan Bullhorn said, in their configuration, they will give you a copy of F1 2014 for £299. They optimize the settings for you, but £299.
What?
Yeah, well, see, I read that too, and I was like, F1 2014, and then, yeah, I guess it's a £300 option to get it optimized. So
are they putting like a bunch of mods in there or something? That would be illegal. So I don't understand that sentence.
I think they're just setting the car up. Maybe they're setting up the motion, because it is that is one thing. It is a what's the motion on this? There it is. It's like a D box type thing. It's a 1.5 inch travel D box, which is interesting. I saw 1.5 inch and I went, is that enough? Because I know D box. I think it's. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been a while since I looked at this. I feel like it was 1.5 inch travel, 3 inch travel, and 6 inch travel, or even 9 inch travel. Like the top travels, I'm like, why would you need that much? I don't think you need 6 inches of travel unless you like are trying to be all you want, like dirt rally or something. But that just seems obnoxious. But I think like the 3 inch is kind of all you really need. You don't need a whole lot of travel. So I kind of wonder, like 1.5. I'm like, is that enough? I don't know. But a lot of times that travel isn't necessarily the distance. It's the input. How quick is it?
Yeah, and I would be curious how much, depending on the simulator that you're driving, how much articulation the car has, as far as travel.
Sure.
Like the yaw and stuff that I don't know.
Yeah. One thing that would have been nice there is they didn't have any kind of traction loss, and I know it didn't look like. And
it'd be a good question for Darin.
Yeah, no, Darin would be more on top of this. Yeah, didn't seem like it had any traction loss. But traction loss is that makes really all the difference in Darin's stage 4. I mean, really, if I feel like you're gonna get motion. The seat movers are one thing, that's nice, but the traction loss, that's where it's at. So I didn't quite see that there. So, but anyway, if you can spend it, good on you. We'll send you an Inside Sim Racing sticker.
Right.
Post it right there on the engine cover. Okay, next up, Audi. Oh boy, that's too loud. RaceRoom finally, like this has been teased forever, released the Audi TTRS VLN car. A kind of a little monster of a car, 360 horsepower to the front wheels, 2.5 liter 5-cylinder transversely mounted engine. So yeah, this is a little bit of I don't know, a bastardized car in my opinion. But yeah, so this is finally released. I think it's 349 VRP.
It works out to like 3. I went and grabbed the car yesterday and tried it. It works out to like, for us, it's like $379 or something like that.
$3.79.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, so why am I rambling? So you actually drove it. What do you think?
I'm actually doing a video on it. So I was testing last night, and I have to. RaceRoom, out of all the sims that I've tried so far, does a really good job of making front wheel drive cars not obnoxious.
Yes, I agree.
So it drives cool. I mean, it drives good, and it's the VLN version. So I was doing it on the VLN version of the Nordschleife, and man, if you set it up, there's just a couple small tweaks to do to it, like give it some toe out in the rear. So, because front-wheel drive cars have a tendency to try to skip the back end out, because all the braking effect, all the weight is on the front end of the car. So, towing the back end out just a hair, when you start applying the brake, even though it has forward front brake bias, it'll just help that car start rotating into the turn, and man, you can just start grabbing throttle. I mean, I left at the default bottom traction control setting, which was I think 15%. And you can still light the front end up, light the tires up in second gear. But if you squeeze and roll on the throttle, mainly stay in third gear, don't go below it, man, it just hooks right around the turn. It's pretty fun. I mean, it's not super fast compared to some of the other stuff you can drive, but there's some parts where you're going back and forth, and it gets moving pretty good. I like it.
Does it feel a lot faster than the Cup car? 'Cause I think the Cup car has 300 horsepower, if I remember correctly.
It feels a little more lively on throttle, but once it kind of gets up to speed, I don't feel like I noticed a big difference. Again, they were talking about how to utilize the car to its best capabilities because it has more downforce to roll the car more instead of trying to brute force it into the turns. And all I can say is that I noticed that it felt to me, I didn't do the comparison back to back, but from what I remember, it seems to roll the turns better. So.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to that video.
Yep, just trying to dial in the AI. I have to say, doing those, couple runs with the adaptive AI seems to be a bigger improvement from before, and I'm enjoying running with the AI.
Yeah, no, so watch your video that you put out with the Crossbow RR, and yeah, that AI. They seem pretty racy.
Yeah, it was fun.
So no, that's cool. Yeah, I gotta get back into racing. I want to try out that new AI since I said before I think that was one of the best offline experiences you could have, and sounds like it's gotten better.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, and let's see one of the last topics here if I can find it. This car right here, this is the RSR Formula 3 version 3.0 mod. So this mod's been out for a handful of months now, a very popular one. Let me know later if the sound is too loud. It's loud for me, but I feel like it's not too loud in the video. But anyway, so this was version 3.0 was released, and a fair number of changes. The 3D model was improved quite a bit. They listed all the parts here. I mean, it's essentially nearly all the parts, the wings, diffuser, stuff like that. They had some VR-specific modifications to make it a little easier to see the RPM lights. And let's see. Something else they noted is that what was it? Previously saved. I feel like it's previously saved settings or something. Now that it won't carry over.
Oh, okay.
Where was
I see
that
what you're
at?
saying.
Did you see it in the notes there? I lost it. Oh, there it is. All right. Important note. Setups of the previous version are not compatible with the new version due to changes
there it is,
on the
down
Aero
further.
model.
Okay.
So there you go. So you have the previous version. Maybe take some notes on those setups and then start anew and see how much you can work back in there.
And real quick, not to belabor the point here, he was the person was asking. Oh, I don't know who it is, but somebody that had helped with the mod was answering some questions, and they said that they really tried to nail down the car better, especially with the updates that AC has implemented. He did say that the side bite he thought was still a little too much.
Okay.
But that's gonna definitely change how you set the car up.
Okay, gotcha. So, it sounds like a nice little upgrade, sound upgrade. Yeah, a lot of physics, a lot of tire, tuned damage model for the aerodynamics. So, yeah, a pretty significant overhaul there of an already popular mod. I see Darin's made his way into chat.
Yes.
And people are hitting him up about the TSPC. We'll show those pictures here in a second. Okay, excuse my sniffling. Last news story we have is a doozy. So it is the road to Vegas has been happening over at Cloud Sport with R Factor 2 for racing for $1 million. I said I was going to do this. I did this for like 1 week, not really, and then I haven't gotten back to it, and people accuse me of being not sticking with it. You're right. I failed. But anyway, quickly, these are the results of the different rounds. First week was Long Beach, and I was going to kind of roll through here. And if you're familiar with sim racing, these are all very familiar names. This is a who's who. So this was the results of the 4 rounds, and that all resulted in this final 10 that will go on and race for a chunk of that $1 million prize at CES in Vegas in January. But here's the best parts. Let me go and pull up the actual blog post. So here's the pay breakdown. You get $200,000 for finishing first. You get $20,000 for finishing between 11th and 30th.
Nice.
These 10 guys, sim racers, have already locked in $20,000 for, a couple months of work, essentially. I mean, that's wild.
That makes me cry a little bit because, like, what my best winnings from sprint cars was I got second place at a pretty big race, and I think I got like $3,100 or something like that, $3,500. I'm just like, where? Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And by the way, going through this list, let's name off these 10 because this is impressive. Graham, we got all these guys are who's. Graham Carroll, Ali Pakala, I believe. I'm sorry. Gregor Hutu, we all knew him. Enzo Benito, David Greco, a friend of Darin's, who now works for Codemasters, getting their physics much better the last couple editions of F1. Bono Huis, Pedar Brijak, Alexia Uyusa, almost, Patrick Holzman, and Leski Aloma. So a few of those names I know how to pronounce actually because I hear them a lot in the iRacing World Championship. And also of note, 5 of those 10 are from Team Redline. So as probably one of the most professional. Okay, there's plenty of. Not to make anyone mad. There's plenty of professional teams out there, but I think Team Redline with the.
I just think it's one of the larger known ones.
Yes, one of the better known ones. Definitely well organized, and definitely some of the fastest guys because they're always up there in everything they compete in. But yeah, 5 of the 10 are from there. But yeah, that's pretty fantastic. And by the way, I didn't mention this, and I should have. When they go to Vegas, the racing there's 30 spots because the 20 spots are taken by the actual Formula E race car drivers, and then 10 are sim racers. So they'll be racing the real guys, and you know what? I think the sim racers are going to show real well because obviously they're not distracted by actual racing.
Well, and the hard part is, as somebody that kind of did the transition from racing going to the sim racing stuff, is you can push a heck of a lot harder in a sim than you can in real world typically because there are bigger consequences. And even when somebody tells you, well, I'm not worried about crashing, I wasn't worried about crashing either. I mean, I had plenty of wrecks, but there's a different way of attacking the course when you're driving in the real world. So I think that the sim guys may have a little bit of an advantage if those other guys haven't been practicing or haven't practiced much.
Yeah, no, I mean, and also think, when Wally Dellenbach called NASCAR, which was painful at the beginning, he got better. But anyway, he would always say, you drive with your butt. Because he'd always talk about how you feel the car rotating. And it's all, seat of the pants, literally. And, well, these guys are racing in, just fixed. I think they're racing like the PlayStation F1 rigs. And single monitor or TV maybe, and it's a little bit of input lag. So yeah, these they don't have that feeling. So I think the sim racers are going to have a real. I mean, now a fair amount of these guys, a lot of real world guys now do fire up the sim racing. I know.
Yeah, but if they're not doing it on a regular basis, that's where it gets difficult.
Yes, yes, totally. I know Daniel App. He races a fair amount online. He shows himself racing iRacing, even some other sims. So yeah, but I agree. I think the sim racing guys here. I mean, they might take 8 of the top 10. I mean, gotta see how it goes. But
yeah, hopefully there's some sort of telecast or something that we can watch, and I hope it's a good race.
I hope so too. What I really want to do is I really want to be there. Anyone from Formula E watching? I wanna go because I
want to cover the event live here on the side of the simulator. This is John.
Yes, if they need anyone for the broadcast. I assume there's a broadcast, but I haven't heard anything about it. But I'd imagine. Oh, there's going to be a broadcast. They've been broadcasting all the other races.
Yeah.
So there's got to be something. Even though I'm sure broadcasting from, CES, that's going to be a zoo. So.
Yeah. All right.
As always, fingers crossed.
Yep. So if you guys want to start posting your Q&A for me, I'll start grabbing them while we go through the happenings real quick, and then John's ISR forums and poll question.
Okay, so what are we up to now? Okay, yeah, so happenings. Let me pull up those pictures of the TSPC racer wheel. Darin posted these up on Facebook couple days ago, and then I also put them up on Instagram and Twitter. There's that power supply we were talking about.
I'm telling you, you're going to get 15% faster with that thing just by that turbo power supply alone.
Yep, there's the rim with a little bit of Darin's finger, and there's the side. Now Darin was saying that this base is metallic. At least part of it is. I know a lot of people are saying plastic, but I guess that's metal, or at least partially metal. So that's good to see. Because that's at this price point, $500. So I'm definitely I'm very interested to see what Darin has to say, and I'm very interested in getting one for myself and seeing how it feels in hand. Because I do kind of wonder if it's one of those products that just doesn't picture well. Because I think from some angles it looks good, and some angles it's kind of like I see what people are saying. Or some of the complaints. Right. So.
Yeah, I'm very interested in. I've already seen some of Darin's thoughts while he's been in the chat. So I'm very curious to see what his final first impression is.
Yeah, and I saw Darin just said that the power supply's circular for a reason. So they talked about it in their press release. It's some helical something design. There's a design behind it. I looked it up actually. There's better cooling. Whatever the term they used, it's a donut shape. And I think the idea is that there's better cooling when you have more surface area with like a donut shape than when you have something square. And I think you have more, I don't know, battery packs, juice, whatever inside. So the idea is that having that round shape where you got air on the outside and inside is for better cooling.
Oh.
So that's why it's shaped like that. And I think once they had that shape, they're like, well, kind of looks like a turbocharger. Let's throw some plastic shroud on it and make it look like a turbocharger. And
fair enough. I think if most, I'm not really looking at the power supply. I think the only issue would be is, where's it going to go? But if it works, I don't really care.
Yeah. No, what kind of makes me interested to buy it is I put up. I don't know if you might spot it in my rig. It's what am I saying? Oh, I have a hook that I put on my rig where I can go and I hang a steering wheel from. I kind of see that power supply. I'm like, man, if there's somewhere I could just kind of hang it on the rig, that'd be kind of nice.
Huh? Yeah.
And then you can see my turbocharger. So, yep, it is there for a reason, and maybe someone's listening, or everyone's just talking in chat.
Hey,
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Well, this is us filling in dead air. So, Billy, Richard Burns Rally Test Drive coming up. Anything you want to tease us with, or should we just? There's some.
I will say that I make it to the end of some stages. And some stages I do not. In a nutshell, not giving away everything in the video, but I am very surprised with how much I enjoy. Because I didn't have a PC back when this came out. I couldn't afford one. So this is literally fresh for me. I have no nostalgia for it whatsoever. So, and I'm fairly impressed with it. So, There's some interesting things that happen while I'm trying to make it through the stages. So
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I'm in the same boat. I haven't tried out Richard Burns Rally either, as I duck from things getting thrown at me.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where I never had a PC that could run any games or anything at that time, so I didn't even try. I was pretty much stuck to consoles at that period.
Yep. So yeah, that will be probably coming out tomorrow, unless that first look comes out, but I don't think it's gonna be quite out then. So that can be a throwback Thursday Richard Burns Rally. And then as for myself and happenings, planning on going to the performance racing show tomorrow in Indianapolis, also known as PRI. Like I said, if I feel real sick, I don't know if I'm going to make it because it's a couple-hour drive over there, but going to try to go check that out. And that is a real-world racing show, but there's a fair amount of vendors that are going to have pretty high-end motion rigs there. I know Darin said there's a Stage 5 at the Bell Helmets, I believe. And then I know some other ones I can't remember off the top of my head. So there'll be that, and yeah, see who else I can chat with there. And then if any of you guys going to be there, I saw there was already someone's going to be at the show tomorrow, so that's cool. But
that was always an event I wanted to go to when I was racing, because a lot of guys from out here would go to PRI, and I know that actually, at least for a while, I don't know anymore, but some of the schedules would get set up at PRI as well.
Gotcha. They're unveiling the new Star Mazda car there tomorrow, or it's USF 2000. I don't know. They're the same car in the future. They're just getting like different engines.
Okay.
But it's kind of based off of that T4, it's
yes,
built by
Tattoos or whatever it is. Yeah.
That car is in RaceRoom, and a couple others, I think. But yeah, that car's gonna get unveiled. Which we already see the images of it, but that'll be cool. Maybe I'm like, oh, Mazda's gonna be there unveiling that. I need to go talk to someone from Mazda. I seem to like sim racing.
Yep.
But yeah, so that will be neat. And then there's something that I don't have in the notes here because I forgot it apparently under happenings, but I do have it on YouTube, I believe. I saw that there is a pseudo sale on the Oculus Rift today on Amazon. I think as they got the new motion controllers out, which don't really affect any of us in sim racing land. I haven't read a review. I saw like a snippet of a review, and it sounds like they're good. So that's cool. But
if it's worth anything, I think the one lady from IGN tried them, and she said she was impressed. So I don't know.
Cool. So, but yeah, I think as part of that, they're having a little sale where if you can buy an Oculus and then you can get $100 gift card for Amazon for free, essentially. So
fancy.
I call that $100 off because for how much I buy stuff on Amazon these days, that would get spent in no time. So that is, I think I have a link in the YouTube, and also click on our affiliate links down below and then search an Oculus Rift, you'll find it. If you actually do want to take advantage of that. So yeah, that's essentially an Oculus Rift for $500, at least here in the US. I know their worldwide prices are kind of all over the place. Okay, Darren's answering more about the custom rigs. There's a custom rig there too, John, that uses SimX actuators and has rear traction loss. Yeah, I'm gonna go find all the rigs. Oh, I also know the driven wheels. They're gonna have a triple screen setup that's there. I saw they previewed, and then Max Pappas company MPI steering wheels. They have a little simulator. I think it's just a single screen. I think it's one of their wheels put on a G27. So
okay.
I go talk to Max and go tell him he needs to get something a little more powerful than a G27.
There you go.
So
hey, don't you know who I am?
Yeah, he does follow Inside Sim Racing on Twitter.
Oh well,
so
see, you're halfway there.
He might know who we are.
So then you just bring up the phone and go, remember?
Well, I'm gonna wear my Inside Sim Racing shirt and be like, maybe. Yeah. It'd probably be better to show him the notification.
Just you got to put the @ symbol in front of it so he knows what you're doing.
There we go. Let's see. And I did have pictures of this. There's an Oculus sale, so I at least did that. So there you go. Not too bad if you're thinking about that. And then last up here, Billy, stop me from talking anytime as I'm rambling. But this was something that I spotted in the forums, and also I kind of half spotted it because username K Herring, first name Kent. I don't want to give out last name in case he doesn't want it out. But he emailed me saying that he was looking at creating these button labels for Fanatic and asked if he could post it. He didn't want anything like, against maybe he started selling them or something. I was like, oh no, go ahead. And I appreciate asking. But no, they got it in my head. And then when he posted in the forums here, I went, oh, it's a pretty good idea. So these aren't stickers. These are fitted plastic / kind of rubbery like covers.
Yeah.
That go
They do
on
that
the
with
buttons.
controllers. They'll do them with controllers so that if you've worn out the rubber on the sticks, on the thumbsticks, or like I have a problem with my thumb slipping off, they do the same thing. So that's cool.
Yeah, so I thought it was really cool too, and I liked the the L2, R2, those labels are already there, but having like windshield wipers and the view and the DRS, and he has headlights and kind of like a traction control looking button. But
yeah, that's a neat idea.
Yeah, no, I thought this was cool, and I like that it's not stickers, so you can move them around if need be. But yeah, he kind of put it out there, saw if anyone was interested, and got a handful of guys in the forums said yes. So he said let me get the statement that he said. Oh, here it is. By the way, the caps are made of somewhat flexible nylon type plastic. So there you go. They're sized for a snug fit. And then he said, I'm working on a plan for selling these. I'm thinking to make them available individually so you can select exactly what you want. Maybe some special order custom as well. I'll post it in my shop link ASAP. By shop, he means Etsy shop, he was saying. That was from Friday. I didn't see anything up there since then. I think in the YouTube description, I put a link to the forums. So if you want to check that thread out and maybe say, hey, I want to buy some, you can go and let Kent know there.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, so that was neat, and I'm going to try to start doing a better job of... our forums have a lot of really cool custom ideas, and as I mentioned, I feel like there's been a fair amount of... I feel like there's been a fair amount of companies or stuff, products that have started in like a brainstorming in our forums. So I want to start doing a better job of showing that, and I think the live show is a good way of doing that. Yeah,
that's really cool. Good job. I think that's a neat way to address an issue.
Yep. And right before we get to Q&A, no poll question this week. I have a question I want to ask, but I'm going to save it for next week. And I don't think it's going to be a poll question on YouTube. I think it's going to be like a write-in question. First time we do that. I kind of want to read your responses. So I'm thinking I'll save that for... Yeah, I think I'll save that for next week because this week's show got a little long with stuff. But last week's poll question asked, were you impressed by Black Friday / Cyber Monday sales? And apparently you weren't.
It's all crap.
I mean, Billy, were you impressed? Or are you a no?
Yeah. I'm kind of in the middle. From past stuff, not really. But there was the one thing that I was impressed. Well, depends on how you look at it. RaceRoom's prior or current price model, you could get everything that they had for the price of a standard, approximately AAA game, which I thought, versus their standard pricing model. While you can make an argument, maybe that should be what the model is already. Whatever. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, was that? Cause that was like the 999 VRP or 9,000. What was that?
You just clicked the 3 different boxes, and you could pick the different levels, and you could literally get one at that moment that had, if I remember right, that had everything.
Yeah, they're still running that.
Okay, I wasn't sure if they were still doing it because I haven't paid attention. Once I did it, and what was cool is it just subtracted all the content I had already out of it, and then said, okay, this is with the sale, this is what you're going to owe us for the rest of it. And I was like, so there's like a bunch of skins and stuff that I didn't have. I was like, sure, it really wasn't that much.
Huh, cool.
So I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Cool. See, that is one thing, I feel I was thinking about it today with the RaceRoom story. It's like I need to make not a translator, a conversion for VRP to US dollar. So like I really know how much things are. Cause like even like earlier, I see 349 VRP for that Audi, and I go, sounds expensive, and you're like, it's $3.50.
Yeah.
Like,
it worked out to something like that.
Yeah, so it's like, well,
you only get one skin. That's
yes.
the kind of the thing with it. If you're into having a collector and into having all the skins, then you're going to pay a little more. But for just the car, one skin, I believe it worked out to like $379.
Yeah. So that's again, I wish they would just have that in real currency. I feel like that would look better. But anyway, let's see. One thing I wanted to show. I feel like I keep on delaying Q&A.
One thing.
I know. I should say 4 things.
Uh-oh, they're saying you lost sound.
What? Sorry. There's sound. I'm sorry. For some reason the microphone got clicked. Okay, start over. So these are the prices. This is from the Caramelizer app in Google Chrome. It gives you price history. These are the prices of these wheels over for the last year, showing you what they were like on Black Friday. Okay, starting over. T150, a bunch off, down to $130. G29, all the way down to $200, back up to $300 now. Let's see. This was the real sad one if you wanted to buy this. The Alcantara edition of T300, normally $470 consistently, down to $300. That was wild. T500.
Well, look at that.
T500.
All over the place.
All over the place, getting old. $600 recently, all the way down to $400 now. So, yeah. There was some wheeling and dealing going on Black Friday. I didn't think it was all bad.
Huh.
So, if you're in the market for a wheel, and maybe, something at that Thrustmaster Logitech price range, I hope you took advantage of it.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're back with sound. With that, now we can do Q&A.
I made it.
Yes, my voice barely has. So, Billy, how about you take this first one if you can?
Let's see. FTR Racing TV. I'm wanting to upgrade my rig and was wondering, can I buy any kind of motion rig for $800 to $1,500, or am I way out of the price range? Actually, you would know this better than I do.
Yeah, I think you're out, not quite there yet. I'm trying to think the cheapest stuff. I think the Sim Experience stuff starts like $2,500. I think the next level motions $2,000. I don't know of anything that's in that $1,500. So yeah, I think you gotta get to at least $2,000 to get motion. I'm trying to think what the Sim-U is. I feel like that's in the 2000. That one's not in terms of motion, that one's not too expensive. Mark did the review on that, and overall that one looks pretty good.
Okay.
I like it doesn't take up too much floor space either. But yeah, I think that might have been like 2,000-3,000, and that's considered cheap. So yeah, I'm not gonna find anything that cheap.
Well, that answers that. And then Dominic asks, will you guys do an updated post-patch review on Assetto Corsa for the Xbox One after patch release? Thank you. He's just waiting to see if the frame rate issues are worked out. John?
Billy? You want to do a review?
No. From what I've heard, it's still not totally smoothed out yet. I have, but understand that I have not tried it in quite a while, especially the Xbox One side. PS4, I haven't touched in about a month and a half. The Xbox One I haven't touched since basically launch. I can tell you my dad enjoys it, but I don't know that they've resolved those issues. Now, what I did hear is that on the Xbox One S, that it does run a little better on there because the CPU is not restricted. It's a little better CPU in the S, and it's not restricted as much. They actually did a test where you're getting a few more frames and smoother frame pacing on the 1S. And another thing you can try is also clearing.
Who did that video, by the way?
Was
that Digital Foundry?
Digital Foundry. And then ACG does an interesting one where he talked about clearing the cache in your consoles. And that can actually help improve frame rate and stuttering as well.
Interesting. Hey, Cold Poland. Go easy. Let's see. Someone also chat said that if you can't get motion, getting sim vibe is a plus for shakers. I think that's what he was talking about. Let's talk about something else. But yep, that's kind of one way to people say with that it's almost kind of like getting kind of motion in there without getting motion. RGR Motorsports asks, should I get 32 megabyte or 64 megabyte in RAM? What is the difference? Megabyte, so we're not talking about gigs of RAM here.
That's why I got a little. I was like, So are we talking? Go ahead.
Well, I was saying
you're better at the spec part than I am.
Oh, slightly. If we talk about gigabytes, I don't think really right now you have to have more than 8. 16, you're plenty safe. There's no reason to go above 16 gigabytes.
I would recommend 10.
Recommend 10?
I would recommend no less than 10 because it seems like some of the newer titles are utilizing more.
Well, see,
I have 16.
I don't think you can even do 10 nicely. So I think it would just kind of be default to 16. Well, unless you got like 3 stick, you get 12.
You could do 12.
You could do 12, yeah. But I mean, some of these. Well, I mean, DDR4's got is a little more expensive than what DDR3 went to, but yeah. So yeah, if you're talking that, if you're talking 32 megabyte or 64 megabyte, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure there, and we'll let we'll let chat come in. I mean, 60. The bigger number is always better.
Yeah, always the bigger number.
That's my good answer there.
When I play any sort of shooter light game, whether it be third person or first person, I always pick the gun with the bigger boom. So
there you go. Drennan88 has wheel support in Forza Horizon and/or Apex on PC been improved for Club Sport V2? I don't think it has, which is surprising. I don't even know. Does it even technically have support yet? Because I feel like when they did the original announcement for wheel support for, I think, Horizon 3, Fanatic wasn't on there, and they said like, "Oh, don't worry, it's coming." But I don't remember ever seeing an announcement. And I was even I was thinking about the other day, and I was thinking about at some point tossing like the CSL on the rig and seeing if that worked. But then again, like I said, Forza Horizon stopped working for me. But yeah, I'm not sure.
And that doesn't help.
No. You want the next one?
Yeah, just a second here. Let me scan back up. Just copying. Okay, where are we on? We're on Caden Caden's
Yes.
question. Caden, have you guys seen any of the new P Cars 2, so Project Cars 2 images, and also have you guys heard or seen anything, period? I have not seen, if there's anything recent from Project Cars 2, I have not seen it. I saw the images that they released a handful of months ago, but I have not heard anything since.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. Nothing new there. Dylan Murray, what is the best H pattern shifter for PC? And for Billy, what was your favorite part of dirt track racing and your favorite part about sim racing?
So you take the first part.
Sure. H pattern, I need to spend more time with it because even though I took it a long time ago and I still have to review it, I haven't yet. The Fanatic Close Sport shifter feels really nice. I was pretty impressed with the little bit I have driven with it. I don't think it's too expensive either. The Thrustmaster TH8A shifter is a solid shifter for the price. That was another one that was on a pretty decent price on Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Both those shifters can be turned from H pattern to... I know you asked for H pattern, but they can both be turned to sequential. Beyond that, I've only tried the Logitech ones, and the Logitech's so hard to drive. But you got to be like so precise. It's kind of like that Hori racing wheel Apex review I did, where I said like you drive that off like memory, where your hands and feet should be. You don't drive it off feedback. That's what that shifter is like. Like you're like, I know the slots. I know the slot I want the gear in I want to be in is here.
Right. Yep.
Because you can't feel it. So yeah, that's what I got on shifters. So how about what about the second part for you, Billy?
Favorite part of dirt track racing. Well, in particular, the sprint car is just the ridiculous amount of horsepower that's in those cars, and how they're so foreign to drive. I mean, you can try and explain to somebody how to drive one of those cars. It is not like driving your car on the street. It's nothing like that. The forces and the suspension travel that happens, and then dirt track racing in general, with how much the track changes. You know, it can be the main event can start out nice and tacky. It can get really slick. You really, really have to do a good job at adapting, moving around. You want to watch somebody that really understands that kind of stuff. Kyle Larson, Rico Abreu. And I just mentioned those guys because those guys have transitioned. They still run dirt track stuff, but they've transitioned out of that as well.
By the way, Billy, real quickly, Billy, I have a Kyle Larson story to tell you once we're offline.
Okay, and so that they can translate that to other forms of motorsports. So you tend to learn how to adjust your line very quickly because, like I said, one lap there will be a hole, or there wasn't a hole there in the line that you were running. The next lap there is a hole, and you have to figure out how to get through there and still keep up your speed. And then sim racing, really, it's just the amount of different stuff I can drive. I enjoy jumping in and just trying out a bunch of different stuff. I am not I'm never going to be the fastest guy in anything because I bounce around too much. But I enjoy that. So that's my favorite part about sim racing is getting to experience tracks. And I've actually used it to my benefit in doing some road racing stuff. So that's cool.
Let's see. There we are. Frank Zappa. Hi guys, are you using and seeing the amazing benefits of asynchronous space warp with the NVIDIA cards on the CV1 and or monitors? Yes, I think so. I had to recall what that was. So I talked about that a little bit last week when I was talking about enjoying the Oculus experience more, particularly in Assetto Corsa when I did that 919 video. And I do think I was seeing some benefit of that, which might have been some of the, whatever the opposite word for benefit is, in that video I did, because there was a lot of complaints about choppiness of that video. And the whole idea with asynchronous space warp is that you don't have to be at 90 frames per second anymore to run comfortably in VR. I should explain from the top. It's slashed in half. You can run at 45, and it kind of cheats its way to making it, be okay. And so I'm wondering if I would have my frame per second might have dropped, but because of that new technology, I was doing okay because I turned settings up a fair amount for that race. I had settings up decently high in the game, and then I had turned super sampling at 2. So it was all good in my headset. My headset was all good and it looked a lot better at 2 super sampling than it does at regular. But I do wonder if maybe that hurt the capture that I showed. So I think the answer is yes, but it's hard to fully pin that out because it's kind of been multiple things happening there. But it's very cool. I mean that's I kind of said with the Oculus review and stuff, I kind of felt like, oh, wait for Gen 2. Gen 2 is going to be like there. This isn't quite there yet, but that technology I feel like has pushed it to now I'm a little more like, maybe this could work if you got a strong enough PC. Like my CPU's holding me back at the moment. 2700K. That's just not. I need a better CPU would help me out.
Okay.
Okay, next one for you.
Actually, Darin asked, Billy, are you running the mods? And he's referring to Richard Burns. I am not. I wanted to try the vanilla version first before I jumped into the mods. Kind of like what I did with GTR 2. I don't want to change too much. I want to know what the experience was like with the vanilla version to kind of get a baseline of, in case I do try a mod that changes the physics or whatever, I have a better understanding of what's changed and is it better or is it worse instead of starting with a mod. So, and then John asked, why is my hair blue? It's silver, man. It's I got gray hair. It's just probably the lighting or your monitor. My hair is mixed with my dark brown, so I know that.
As I always say, the important part is that you have hair.
Right.
That's half the battle. Let's see. Harry Stazwis.
Good job. You got it. Nailed it.
I know you guys are rocking the GT Omega office chairs. Are these a respectable alternative for those of us without full rigs? Can shifters be mounted on any of these style of seats? I mean, they're nice chairs. I really do like them. In terms of racing duty, there's no way to lock these wheels. And I don't see any way of mounting anything to these. If you want to take them off the casters, I think they would be okay. But there really isn't too many workarounds for a rig. I mean, just being honest. I mean, it's kind of like having a rig is super nice. I mean, for years, like college and stuff, I raced with wheel at my desk, and I'd put it on, take it off, every single time I wanted to race, because that was my, my work desk. While I was getting that awesome GPA at college. Racing didn't help. I shoved the pedals against the wall, clamped the G20 or Logitech Momo back in the day on, and my chair didn't have wheels on it, and that's how I raced. Yeah, and I did some of my best racing back then, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you do with what you can afford and what you have. If it's more of a convenience factor, in my opinion, not it's going to make you faster. So if you've got the room and the space and the funds available, having a rig is cool. If you don't, do with what you got.
Yeah, and Dominic just said off casters, the arms in the GT Omega chairs get in the way. Yeah, you would have to honestly take the arms off, which, I mean, that's easy enough to do. It's just I'm feeling it three bolts down there, but it's hard to get away from the alternative to a rig.
Yep.
You want to take the next one?
Well, Silverfire just asked if you can put the affiliate link to the Amazon stores on the ISR TV site.
Okay, yeah, we had them up on the site, and then we got more sponsors, and they disappeared. So, which that's not a bad thing to have. I think I need to work with the web guy, and either maybe we'll get a boxed ad on the right-hand column there, or maybe a drop-down from the menu. So, no, that's a good suggestion.
And again, that doesn't apply to, if you use that link, that just doesn't apply to sim racing items. Is that correct?
Yes, it works for everything. So, yes, do whatever you need to do to get. For the terms and conditions of Amazon, I can't say specifically what I want to say here, but I can say just have the link handy.
There you go.
Whatever you do to have links handy, I suggest that.
All right. Perfect. Todd McDanger. Oh, why not have all three on the live show? That's typically a logistics issue.
Yeah, I mean it can kind of be done, but I mean 3 is a lot of people. I don't know. I mean maybe. I mean not.
Well,
not,
we're working on. You and I are working on something, so
yes.
we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yep. Let's see. G-Brick setting up an i7 PC, making the crossover from PlayStation 4 to PC, planning to go iRacing. Which GTX 1080 NVIDIA card should I buy? Also for Assetto Corsa. Any of them. Yeah, I mean, go out there and watch. If you want to go specifically which 1080, go watch like a Jay's 2 cents type thing. And he's like, I feel like tested all those different versions out there. I can only speak from my experience. Had an EVGA 970 that we got from them early this year. I can't believe that was just earlier this year. Really well made card. I was really impressed by it. Then I bought myself a Gigabyte 1070. It's their lower end card, no backplate, not that flashy. It's performed really well. I've been able to overclock it. So it seems like a lot of the brands over there overall are pretty good. And then 1080 just kills everything.
Right.
So 1080 is really strong. So yeah, you shouldn't have any problem. Find which colors you like.
Let's see here. Drennan88. John, did you figure out your new speaker and, or lack thereof, amplifier dilemma yet?
No, I haven't worked on that because I was working on other videos. So this might be another video by the end of the year. I have a big plan for this space.
Big plans.
Big plans, yes. Big plans, little budget. So I might be moving the rig behind me there. I might be moving that, and so I'm kind of debating if maybe not doing that, putting the speakers on until I move it, because I kind of want a better mounting option for the speakers than what I currently have. What I currently have is kind of okay, it's very half-assed. So I kind of want to do a better job at that. So that might be waiting for a bit, but I don't want to wait too long. So I also need to do that video about SimVibe, and I want to experience that. So I don't want to, So I'm hoping January. If I had to put a time frame on things.
There you go.
And we know what happens when we put time frames on things.
Yep. It always happens before then, right?
Yeah, about a week or two later.
And speaking of SimVibe, let's see, Leonard, Billy, some plan to use SimVibe to get profiles from you based on race experience. I do want to try it. I am not ready to do so at the moment, so when I get there, we'll see how it goes.
Okie dokie. James Galbraith, will Thrustmaster ever release low cell pedals? I hope they do. I'm hoping that this TSPC racer wheel, it's not the best name. It's not the easiest to say. I'm hoping that maybe this is the beginning of, I don't know, maybe a line there. Maybe they come out with pedals. Because I think Thrustmaster does a really good job with their wheels for the price. Everything's got to be price based. But I think they do a really good job bang for your buck on the wheels and rims. The pedals aren't bad, but they're not, the T3 PAs and T3 PA Pros, solid pedals, but there's better ones out there. I'm using the Fanatic CSLs right now. So I would like to see them step up their game there. So hopefully, but I don't know. We aren't privy to these things until hey, we're releasing something.
Yeah, until they let us know. So
yeah.
James, will Thrustmaster ever release? Oh, you just did that. Duh. Cameron, I am looking for a USB stick shifter. I'm assuming you mean different terminology for H pattern for a decent price. And any suggestion? TH8A from Thrustmaster.
Yeah, it's probably the best priced one. Yeah. CM Skinner, if both Fanatic pedal sets were in front of you, which would you take home? Are the V3s worth X $100 for vibrators? Vibrators.
Hello.
Oh, wow.
That's a whole different program.
Well, only $100 more for multiple. I think so.
Why stop there?
Yes.
Downhill real quick.
Thank you for that question. That was fun. I tell you, I'm so torn on this. I got the CSLs. I said yes to CSLs, and I've been running those and happy with them. And then people were like, well, what about the V3s and and then they got the new brake performance kit. I'll bet one thing that kind of had me like the CSLs more is CSL has more travel, but part of the reason is my brake performance kit, the beta one on the CSW V2s or V3s. I'm sorry, CSP V3s. Ugh, acronyms. I had the stiffest one. It's really stiff, really little travel. With that said, I want to try out these new ones sooner than later again. I don't think I'm going to gain a lot of travel back, so I still might go to the CSLs, but I don't know. It's the CSP V3s definitely have a better throttle, definitely have a better clutch. The CSLs, I love how you can move the pedals around. I love how far left I've been able to move the brake pedal. It's a wider plate too. It's a much wider pedal.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
The CSLs are wider than the CSPs.
Okay.
It's probably it's a little bit. It's enough. It's significant. And then I also like the pedal faces on the CSLs a lot. They have the curved Tilton style. And I don't care for the Tilton styles on the V3s because they have a giant groove down the center of it for the screws, and I don't like that feeling under my foot. So I always ran the flat pedals. So, like I said, I like that more on the CSLs. So yeah, I mean, it's the perfect world. Like the V4s, I would think Fanatic would take some of the stuff they put on the CSLs, and they would have a baby. They really would merge those two products together, and I think that would be pretty kick-ass. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of it. Depends where you wanna. It depends what matters to you to some degree. So that's the different scenarios.
Let's see. Mickey Motion, brake pedal. Looks like a G29 brake pedal feels awful for me. What should I do? Someone recommended the GTI mod. Would I be better off getting different pedals if it works on the PS4? PS4, don't you have to run into the wheelbase? You can't use pedals independently.
Yes,
that would be my first concern.
You got to use the wheelbase.
I tried the G29. It is what it is. I think does Rick Motec do mods for the Logitech stuff, the G29s, or is it just the G27s?
You know what? It would work. It would still work on the G29. I think.
Okay.
I really think dimensionally wise, they're the same. The only thing that the G29 has kind of like a T3PA conical mod. It's not conical, but it has a little bit of a rubber stop that gives you a little more compared to the G27.
Yes.
But
yeah. And with the, if you decide to, Darin mentioned the basher boards, I don't know if that'll work for the PS4. I'm assuming it would because PS3, you're going to spend a decent amount because Rick Motec makes a very nice unit for the load cell. So you're going to spend quite a bit, but it will definitely drastically improve the brake feel if you decide to go that route. So
yes, no, there's a lot of people that run modded Logitechs. By the way, missed us earlier. Our Spatial Dragon, Tim, gave a $5 donation. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh yes, very nice.
I see.
Not necessary, but thank you.
Yes, thank you. We were talking about before the show actually that like the at least the gaming channel YouTube has now like a donate button down by your comments section, which that's new. So yes, thank you very much. That will go to I don't know which cause I'll go to. I'll go to one of the causes.
G Brick asks best way to start iRacing VR monitors. That's a question for you.
Well, how much you got to spend? You know, are we talking a single monitor, triple monitors? Like I said, I think if you I think the way with that new software update, which I wish I would have came up with prior to our review, I think if you want to make the jump to VR, I won't, I wouldn't get in, I wouldn't say, against it. And also, like we said even in our review, VR is almost kind of worth trying. If it doesn't work,
Right.
you can sell it and for the most part recoup your, what you bought it for. So, if you're interested in it, I think it's worth a try, especially if you're sitting here today with like no VR, no monitors. You're starting from scratch, which sounds like that. If you're going to just one for a single monitor, a good 27-inch, 144 hertz monitor is probably going to run you about $250, I think, unless they've come down from what I remember. So, that versus 600 or 500 today, get that Amazon gift card through our affiliate link. So yeah, that's kind of what I would take. My question back would be, how much are you willing to spend? But if you have an interest in VR, I think it's worth checking out. And iRacing is one of those titles where, it works pretty well. Even though I hope in the future iRacing, when it does this whole UI menu, I hope they get some kind of VR version of it like Project Cars has. Project Cars and Dirt Rally. Because that makes life much easier.
Ali Osman, any of you watched the Snowball Derby? I did not. John, you?
I did not, and I heard it finished up last night. Correct? I think that's. I think it got like rained out this weekend. They finished up last night.
Okay.
And then no, I did not watch it.
No, I did. Sorry, I didn't either. And then, in fact, we have that 25 hours of Thunder Hill up here, so I had a couple people go and were giving me updates on that because now some big teams are starting to run it.
Yeah, well, okay, so can you explain that to me to some degree? Like, I saw on Twitter, what's his face, the Acura driver who's funny. He was running it in like this, like, it's like they took an old Indy car, like circa 2000, and like turned it into bodywork into like a prototype. This is the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
It's like, so how many cars run that? How many different classes? How does that work?
It's all over the place. It is kind of a catch-all, just almost a run what you brung. I don't know how many, if at all, classes they break it down into because I've only known about it the last couple of years. But I have people that I know through my store that will run it, and then guys will go and watch. And the last couple of years, they've garnered some Flying Lizard brings one or two cars now, I think. And do
they bring their do they bring their old Porsches or
the last time I'm pretty sure they brought the R8.
Okay.
So and now I'm gonna try and get on a side note. I'm in February. They're going to let us in the kart club run the full course, which will be the longest road course in North America. It's like 5-something miles long.
Really?
So they have 2 courses on either side. And so we've run both sides independently, but now they're going to let us run the full course. So if I can get things together, I would like to go run that.
Yes. Bring your GoPro. We'll put it up on the channel.
Yep. And then...
Oh, wait.
Go ahead.
Real quick. So I saw... Big Belly Gamer had a good thing here. He said, if you Amazon Prime, you get 30 days to return it for full refund, I think.
Oh, okay.
So, that's another, way to... I mean, just products in general. Return policies can also kind of save you there if you don't like the experience. Literally cost you nothing, just time.
All right, and then last couple things here. Billy, do you still race sprint cars? How do you learn to build one? I have financially been on hiatus from sprint car racing. How about that? And then learned to build one literally by getting one that was used, that was already built, and asking a bunch of questions, tearing it down, and then putting one back together. And my brother and I got pretty good at rebuilding a car from the ground up in a day and a half.
Were you good at taking a car from from built up and taking it down to the ground?
Yeah.
In terms of crashing?
Oh yeah. It's on YouTube. I've got some good ones. I made Speed when they were doing
Wait, wind tunnel?
Dave Despain and stuff. Yeah, I was in a couple of those.
Oh.
So yeah, I had some good ones.
We need the links. I want to start off the show how they used to start off wind tunnel, where like they would show like maybe like a car crashing, and then that's how we should start this show.
If you want their loud pedal TV, I think it is, and then you have to search Trophy Cup, and it's like 2010 or 2011 or something. Like halfway through on the second night, I get clipped in the left front, and we're at Tulare at the Trophy Cup, and I literally flip from just past the flag stand all the way into turn 1 and 2, and that's a fast 3rd mile oval. That was a really good one. That one knocked me goofy.
Man, I didn't know these existed.
They're all over.
I will uncover these. That is awesome. We have one more question? Is that where we're at?
One more question just from T-Bone. When using a VR headset in Dirt Rally or other games to reduce motion sickness, is it best to lock the view to the vehicle interior or to the horizon? And again, that's for you.
What did I do? I kind of struggled with both, to be honest. I think I locked it to interior because I'm pretty sure, and hopefully I'm not. I don't think I'm flicking these because I think when you lock to horizon, that's when like the dash moves on you, and it feels really weird. I feel like it was locked to horizon when I tried it at E3, and then I've locked it to interior, which makes you feel your steering wheel is always in the same location. When you lock to horizon, the steering wheel's like your car's moving around you, pivoting essentially. Right. So it's kind of odd. So I believe I lock it to interior, but I mean, to be fair, Dirt Rally, most things I was fine. It was the flippin' flying fins that was my favorite stages. I was really trying to like get myself to. So I think I might have finished it actually once since the review. By the way,
okay.
I think in the review like I couldn't finish the long yes. one, but I feel like I finished it since then. So VR legs, VRC legs, it is a real thing.
Yes, it is. All right.
Okay.
And that'll do it. I apologize if I missed any questions, but we're on 2 hours, and I'm sure people want to go to bed. So
we're on 2 hours. Europe wants to go to bed. My voice wants to quit.
I got to go to work.
There you go. So on that note, on that bombshell, thank you. Yeah, I know. Also, someone said we could be like a Top Gear crew here between you, me, and Darin. So yes, on that bombshell. Thanks again for watching this week Inside Sim Racing, December 7th, 2016 edition. Got a couple more of these for the end of the year. But yes, for Billy Strange, I'm John Sable. Thanks for watching. See you guys out there somewhere. Ooh, are we doing it?
We had to do that. So, all right. Thanks, guys.